Hi, can you hear me? You see, it doesn't come through on my.
Morning, Mark. Are you on us yet?
Hi, Angela.
Hi, Johnston. How are you?
Well, I haven't seen you for a long time.
I know.
Thanks for hosting the workshops again.
Oh, pleasure. Are you well? Are you well? Oh, there we go. Okay. I think Mark's busy connecting at the moment. Mark, are you on? Mark, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now. How are you?
And you can see me.
No, I can see
I'm
you.
well. I might just call you and share screen then. Yeah. How's it
Okay,
going, man?
Yeah, all good. I'm going to, what I'll do is I'll just make you host and then you can check. You can just test it out while everybody joins us.
Yeah, no, that's fine. I'm just trying to. I don't know when last I did a Zoom, but you get used to them and you forget and everything. I'll share the screen.
Oh, shame. Is there at the green one at the bottom?
Yeah, no, I've got it, John. No, just I think everyone's fine, but when I get to going to the presentation, I've made mistakes before.
Don't stress. Well,
Yeah.
there's quite a few people still logging on, so you can test it if you want while we wait for everyone to come on board, and then I'll introduce you.
I'm just trying to remember. Yeah. Cindy,
Have you got
I'm just
it
going
on
to get
your...
my. It's
No
fine. I'm just
problem.
going to test it now.
Okay, no
then
problem.
We'll go back just to test it. Cindy, we go share screen. Okay.
Yeah. Hello.
Then we got to go to
Go to desktop.
my desktop. Normally, where does it say desktop here? Desktop. Show desktop there.
Yeah.
Okay. Then I go into
The presentation.
yeah, and it's
That one. Yeah. And then it will go slideshow.
where's the slideshow? There.
It's not sharing though as yet. I can't see it on my screen.
No, no, that's right. Okay, is it? Can you? No, that's the wrong way to do it. Do you remember? Okay, so that's what. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, but I can't see your.
Okay, we're going to start again.
presentation.
That's the wrong way of doing it. How did we do it the last time? Shall I go there?
Have you got two screens, or have you just got the one screen?
No, just click there.
There.
Yeah, just go there and there.
No, I remember we did it somehow, but I'm just going to.
You've got to share.
There. Yes, that's it there. Okay.
Share.
I've got it. So what you do is you go in there, you go there, and then I got a desktop.
Yeah.
There we go. Got it. Stunning.
So
Okay, so
desktop,
now we
and then I'm just going to move this thing. I'll get it out the way.
Hold the top. Just hold the top and drag it.
Yeah,
Drag it into the middle over here. There.
Okay, there we go.
I'm going to go out of it again, but I think I just wanted to practice.
Okay. All right. Well, it looks like
Okay, let's. How do I get out here?
No,
Stop share. No,
There we
but
go. No, but leave it on that. Leave it on that.
okay, I'll leave it like that,
start-
Joe. That's fine. Yeah, and then I can.
Perfect. So it looks like
Yeah.
we've pretty much got everybody on. So welcome everybody to today's training. Nice to see some familiar names up there again. I know you've all been very busy quoting. So yeah, so we got the lovely Mark from Kariega. I don't know if I pronounced it correctly, but you can take us through it, Mark. And yeah, we can do some questions at the end, or you can ask after each, whatever you want to do. You can take it away. So thanks for joining us. Over to you.
No, thanks. It is Angela, eh?
It is.
Yes. Thanks, Angela. Just want to check. So you guys are the South African market more, Thompson's in Johannesburg. Is that right?
Yes, so we've got all our local agents on that are selling property. So we don't need to discuss rates or anything because they would book through us. And it's really just the local market. We do have some inbound people as well, but it's mainly for our leisure consultants here, our travel agents. Thank you, and staff. Okay, perfect.
Okay, so guys, thanks for giving me the opportunity to tell you more about Kariega, and that is the way you pronounce it. Funny enough, if we had our time again, because this is a family-owned reserve, my dad started 33 years ago, and in the early days it was called Kariega Park. We would have, people from Europe call it mainly Kariega, the Dutch do call it Kariega, and the Americans say Kariega. So it's quite interesting, but that's our name, and it works well. We've got a very good brand out there in the international market. We are much more of an international game reserve than a sort of a local game reserve. However, the local market is important to us, and we get some lovely South African bookings, and particularly during the very challenging time we've been through in the last 2 years with COVID. So we had some lovely South African bookings, and if you guys have booked us, thanks very much. And yeah, I hope you're all surviving. It's been a very tough 2 years, but we were coming back nicely after we were taken off the red list at the end of, after South Africa was taken off the red list towards the end of September. Bookings started coming back nicely in October, November, and then very sadly Omicron hit, and it decimated our book for December, January, and it messed up February pretty much as well. Luckily, again, from around 10 January, the international bookings have been coming in very nicely again. So we are feeling positive, as well as South African bookings, sorry. We are feeling positive, and yeah, we're just very hopeful that there's going to be no going backwards now. We really can't afford to go backwards, and I'm not only talking for ourselves, I think I'm talking for tourism right around the world. And yeah, to me, it's looking positive, and I really believe we're going to bounce back quickly, particularly from September forward, remembering that May to August is always our low season period in the Eastern Cape, due to our market being mainly Europe. Predominantly our big markets are Germany and the UK, and they have their summer months, obviously May to August, so they don't travel as much. So that's why we a little bit lower then. A pity, because May and June are stunning months in the Eastern Cape. So I think there's going to be a big takeoff from September. Our forward bookings are already very good. So let's see. I think people are desperate to travel. You know, they've been sitting at home. It's cold overseas. They haven't been on holiday for 2 years. So yeah, so we're feeling positive, and I hope things are sort of on the up from your side as well. Although maybe you didn't take as much as a hiding as all of us, because you are more the South African market. But yeah, any questions along the way? Anything you want to talk about or stop me? Just go for it. I'm going to take you through a PowerPoint presentation of Kariega. As I said, it was started by my dad 33 years ago, so it's a real family business, and we've sort of developed it substantially over the years. And as I take you through it, I'll talk. But basically, our sustainability statement, our foundation is doing tremendous work. We really have got an awesome foundation run by my sister, who's in that middle picture over there. And yeah, creating a sustainable ecotourism system that supports our people, animals, and environment. Our foundation took off when we introduced our foundation, our conservation and community levy at the beginning of 2018. That stage was 130 Rand per guest per night, and now it's 150 Rand per guest per night. I think lots of the reserves in South Africa are doing that. Guests are very happy to pay this levy, and it enables us to bring in proper funding to create proper foundations, and not just window dressing foundations. So as I say, we're doing great work in that area. I thought I've included this sort of slide in our presentation, and it shows all the Eastern Cape game reserves. Because at the end of the day, although we compete with our neighboring game reserves, we also, in this together, we need each other to create a destination, a safari destination in the Eastern Cape. So we're all very friendly, although we're all trying to get a fair share of the pie. But we all get on really well in the Eastern Cape. We belong to Indalo, which is a protected environment, and it's sort of a board that we all practice the same conservation ethics, and we meet 4 times a year. It shows you where the reserves are. You've got obviously Port Elizabeth over here, and obviously that way is Cape Town, and we're on the eastern side. You've got Kwandwe Game Reserve over here. You've got Shemwari over here, Amakala, Lalibela, Pumba, Kariega Game Reserve over here, Sibuya next door to us. Little one called Hopeful over there as well. And then you obviously get the Addo Elephant National Park, and within that you've got a couple of concessions. One which you'll probably know quite well is Kora in the Addo Elephant National Park. So I think over the last, with Shemwari leading the way internationally, over the last, about 25 years, the Eastern Cape has really taken off. We are a wonderful destination. I think we sell ourselves with a sort of a garden route Cape Town trip, so either starting in Cape Town, ending up in Eastern Cape Game Reserves, or the other way around. That just shows you exactly where Kariega is situated, which was shown on the other map. The other map showed you in relation to the other reserves. So we're the closest game reserve to the sea and to the Indian Ocean, and that's shown in our topography. Our landscape is actually very different to all these other reserves, which are situated over here or Kwandwe over here. And you'll see the type of valley thickets I'll talk about and that type of thing. It's about an hour and 20-minute drive from Port Elizabeth to Kariega. That's an aerial layout of our reserve, about 10,000 hectares in total. And we've got 5 different lodge offerings, from our entry-level main lodge, which is graded at a 4-star level. And Ukosi Lodge and River Lodge are both luxury 4-star lodges. And then Settlers Drift is our 5-star luxury tented lodge. And then we've got our sole use lodge, which is called the Homestead, over there. So very much 4 to 5-star lodges on the reserve. We're very fortunate in that we border the Kariega River valley over here, where the river winds through the reserve over there. And then on the western side of the reserve, the Bushman's River flows, you can see, all the way through the reserve over there past Settlers Drift. The very exciting news, which we haven't even told the industry, is that this land is coming into Kariega as we talk, which finishes off the whole reserve in the Bushman's River Valley. So all fences will come down. We'll go to about 12,000 hectares, and this was always our final vision. We managed to do the deal, funny enough, in COVID, and it just mirrors that side of the river, and it just makes Kariega perfect, where you'll end up with about 10,000 hectares on the western side of the R343, which is the road that runs from Kenton through to through to Salem. And then so we've got 2,000 hectares on that side of the reserve with 2 of our lodges, and then about 10,000 hectares on this side of the reserve. Obviously these 2 lodges will traverse wherever they want to, and vice versa, although Settlers and River don't really need to go across here because this area is so big. And then you might wonder what about that area? We don't need that because that's over the mountain. So it's all set up perfectly on the side of the reserve as well. Okay, so that's exciting news. I thought, well, while I've got you on a Zoom, I'll tell you about it, but we haven't actually told the industry. The fencing of the new land has started, and this land should be in the reserve within 3 months. And so we'll send out a notice to our whole database telling them what's happened, which is obviously exciting. I'm just going to take you through a video clip and a sort of a update of each lodge. This is Settlers Drift. And this is our 5-star luxury tented lodge, 9 rooms in total. Situated right next to the upper reaches of the Bushman's River, as you can see there. Stunning views and this beautiful valley thickets, synonymous to Kariega. The whole lodge is connected by wooden walkways, as you can see there. And then each suite is very private, 9 in total, very, very spacious. And then our little silo for spa treatments. Right, then that just shows you where Settlers Drift is situated in this area of the reserve alongside the Bushman's River. And one of our unique selling points of Settlers is that you enter the reserve, you know, off the R72 on this side here, and you end up going down to the Bushman's River, and there's a boat transfer into the lodge. It takes about 30 minutes, and that takes place every day from 1:30. If you miss that boat transfer, then you'll just drive through to the lodge. And it's the type of transfer, you get a beer, you get a glass of wine, and your safari starts there. So that's a pretty unique way to enter a lodge. Yeah, that just gives you a layout on this side. You've got six rooms along there. That's a little sala, and then you've got 3 rooms on this side of the lodge over there. Quite a contemporary feel to it, not cluttered or anything. And this has been a hugely successful lodge since we opened in the beginning of 2015. Different dining experience for your 5-star clients. Could be in the wine cellar, in the dining room, private dinners alongside the pool or in the library, Boma dinners, bush dinners. If people, one of our policies at Kariega is that in any of our lodges, if guests come for a 3-night stay, one of those nights will be in the respective bomas. Type of thing we do at Settlers, bush breakfasts. As I said earlier, each suite is very spacious. They're all identical. Each one has got a slightly different view, but all of them have got stunning views. Air conditioners, wood burners, so the temperatures are right, which are very important for a tented product. You can see it's a combination of timber, folding stacking doors, glass, tinted panels. That's a boat sort of entering where our jetties are just around the corner, and there you can see the lodge up over there. If people miss the boat transfer during the course of their stay, they will enjoy a sort of river cruise as part of a game experience, so that they don't have to worry about that. Right, so that's Settlers. Then I mentioned River and Ukosi Lodge, which are common rated, actually, and they're both, we call them 4-star superior lodges. River lodges also situated right on the Bushman's River, but right on the banks of the Bushman's River, about 20 kilometers downriver, closer to the sea than Settlers Drift. 10 rooms in total, and this is our thatched traditional sort of lodge. The room's also nice and spacious, as you can see here. One of the features of this lodge is that we take guests down to the Kenton Sea beaches. It's an optional activity every morning after breakfast and after your game drive and breakfast, early morning drive and breakfast. And you can see here we do a type, setups for the guests. They want to, they can go for a swim, lovely beaches, a lovely walk. And that's a very popular activity for River Lodge. It's the only lodge where people have the beach visit. Funnily enough, this river carries on all the way to Settlers Drift, another 20 kilometers. So we can actually take people from Settlers down to the beach. We don't talk about it, but if guests come for sort of 4, 5, 6, 7 night stays, our guides will talk to them. And if they want to do a morning activity, we do it for them. Our little sala at River Lodge for spa treatments, right next to the river, and our bome over there. So it's pretty unique in connecting the beaches with a sort of lodge in a Big 5 game reserve. So, River Lodge has become a popular lodge over the years. Then Ukwazi Lodge also rated it at the same level as River. The unique thing about Ukwazi is that it burnt down, the main lodge area burnt down. It was an electrical short or something, went up in flames in the middle of the night. And that was in November 2017. The lodge reopened about 9 to 10 months later, towards the end of 2018. And basically a brand new lodge and a much improved lodge, which you'll see here. Sorry. A lovely open lodge, opens to the north with awnings that can come down if you need to. And it's a combination of stone, glass, and timber, which always goes so well in the bush. That's on the view side, lovely views over the valley below, where you'll see those plains teeming with game. And then our stunning pool overlooking this beautiful area of Kariega. And then our wellness center, two treatment rooms here for main lodge and Ukwazi Lodge guests, because the two lodges are adjacent to one another. And then while we are rebuilding the lodge, we refurbed all the rooms. So they're all brand new as well. And you're really lovely little plunge pools. And that's a difference to the other lodges. That's just a nice shot at night of the lodge. And that's actually the video clip was, we built this sort of overhang and create shade and everything after the lodge opened. So that initial video clip, you couldn't see it, but there you can see we've got some nice couches here and people can sit under cover here. And you're really a stunning pool. And then, as I said earlier, a little plunge pool for each of the 10 suites. Right, so that's Ukwazi Lodge. Those are sort of three more intimate lodges. Main Lodge is comprises of 24 chalets, 15 You can call them big chalets. They're actually 3-bedroom chalets, 3 bathrooms, and then 9 1-bedroom chalets. So it's very good for families, very good for the group markets. We do lovely groups here, and then also very good for the entry-level FRT market, which obviously is more affordable, etc. So have a look at Main Lodge. It's the bar restaurant areas. So this lodge can take up to sort of 60, 70 people if there are groups in. Otherwise, if there's just 2 people per every chalet, 48 people in total. Stunning views from the bar and the restaurant. And there you can see how these chalets are spread around this escarpment, looking into the Kariega River Valley, all totally private. Some of them have got private pools, and then very spacious inside. This is a typical 3-bedroom chalet, type of views you get from all the chalets. I'll stop it short there. Yeah, you saw that earlier. People sitting outside the bar area. Funny enough, the chalets with private pools aren't sold for anything extra. They're actually on a first come, first served basis, because we try and keep our rate structures easy to follow and not complicated. So you've got 2 bedrooms on that side and a bedroom on this side, and a sort of coffee station area at the back here. If you get a family, obviously 3 bedrooms, you can have mom and dad and up to 4 children. If you get a group where we put 4 people in a chalet like this, 2 on this side, 2 on this side. We leave the 3rd bedroom, we don't pull that one, and so it works very well for groups as well. So that's Main Lodge. Then we move on to the homestead. It's our sole use lodge, 7 ensuite bedrooms in total, so it can sleep up to 14. Our rates are based on up to 10, and we just do arithmetic upwards if they're 11, 12, 13, or 14 people. Very popular products. I think these types of products are getting more and more popular on game reserves when people can book out the whole lodge. Just a couple of still shots of the homestead. It's our lovely couple who run the homestead. They've been the managers there for about 4 or 5 years now. Yeah, and then just a nice little clip of our wildlife and activities. And I think that's very important to get across. Kariega has got an unbelievable game experience, beautiful landscape and topography, beautiful rivers, the Big 5. And I think that's differentiates one reserve to another. At the end of the day, it's all about the game experience. You've got to have lovely lodges, obviously, but it's all about the beauty, and people want to see animals, and Kariega certainly delivers on that front. My elephant herd, we've probably got about 80 elephants on the reserve, to give you a feel of numbers. Lots of, over 100 buffalo, 20 odd rhino, all sorts of things. The only animal you battle to see in the Eastern Cape reserves are leopard. We've got them, we've spotted them, but very difficult to see. But we're trying to do a leopard reintroduction program, so we're trying to improve on that score. Guided bushwalks on the reserve, your river cruises, your game drives, canoeing. So there's lots to enjoy at Kariega. You'll notice that we've dehorned our white rhino, which I'll talk about just now. Our giraffe sightings are unbelievable. That's a lovely out of Africa shot. That's our river cruises on the Kariega River for our main lodge and Ukosi Lodge guests. One of their game drives will enjoy. They'll enjoy an hour on the river, very popular. Obviously on the Bushman's River for River Lodge and settlers, they've got their own boats, which you saw earlier. Great hippo sightings on the reserve. Yeah, and this is why we dehorned. We had a tragic poaching incident in March 2012, where 3 rhino were left for dead, and miraculously, and I think many of you have probably heard the story, Thandi survived. She's probably the most famous rhino in South Africa. Since then, she's given birth to 4 calves, and she's had a grandchild as well. So the story carries on, and from that day we decided to dehorn, and we haven't had any incidents since then, and it's just our way of protecting our rhino on Kariega. Our guests have been absolutely fine with it, and so it's all working well. It just shows you the beaches for the River Lodge guests. Yeah, as I said earlier, we've got a fantastic foundation, which my sister is driving, and yeah, I'm not going to read them out myself, but those are some of the conservation and community projects we're involved in, and doing really great stuff. That's really Kariega Game Reserve, a family operation, very much so, and our unique selling points, as you can see there, family owned, 5 different lodges to suit all needs from 4 to 5 star. The Eastern Cape is a malaria-free area. We've got prolific game viewing, including the Big 5. Lots of different activities to enjoy on the reserve. From a River Lodge perspective, our proximity to the sea and beaches is pretty unique. And then, as I've sort of spoken about, we very our social and conservation responsibility is very important to us. I'm going to stop sharing now over there. And that's basically, I don't know if anyone wants to ask any questions. I don't know if any of you have been to Kariega, but yeah, feel free to chat. Are there any questions from anyone?
Thank you, Mark. Wow, you are so blessed to have such a wonderful property, and it's so diverse, and sure, something for everyone there.
Yeah, no, thanks, Angela.
Yeah.
It's been a 33-year journey, so it's been quite interesting.
Sure.
But yeah, we are, the way we look at it, our family, we custodians for putting the Bushman's River, sort of all the land in the Bushman's River Valley, Kariega River Valley under conservation going forward, and that's very important to us. And yeah, so it gives us a great feeling of fulfillment. And yeah, obviously the new land coming in, the last piece of land is very exciting. It's sort of, we've now fulfilled our dream. We don't really need Kariega to be bigger. It's not necessary. So yeah,
Yes.
unless it eventually links, I think the bigger picture is when we can link through the Bushman's River Valley, we can link with the likes of Amakhala, Shamwari, and I think that's going to happen. I'm not sure if in my lifetime, but I think it will happen in the future.
Nice. Okay, no, stunning. I'm sure there might be some questions, but can I ask quickly, you mentioned that Main Lodge was more sort of family orientated. Do all the different lodges accept kids, or is it, I mean, is it your family run and whatever, but how is it for families and children? And I mean, I saw the homestead obviously as well.
Yeah, so the Main Lodge and the homestead, our children of all ages are welcome. We have got a children policy, 3 years and under free, 12 years and under pay 50% of the rate. So that they're very good family lodges. But having said that, we get a lot of just international couples who book main lodge. They get that whole chalet to themselves. Although you might, when you go for your meals, there might be quite a few people. Once you're back in your chalet, you feel like you're very much alone because it's so nicely spread out. But yeah, so that main lodge is good, obviously good for families because you've got like a little log home to yourself. And then the children policy at Settlers, River and Nkosi is the same, no children 10 years and under. And all we're trying to get across there is we don't want noisy kids running around, upsetting the ambience of a lodge. We often will take a booking for an 11-year-old and a 7-year-old. So it sort of gives you a sort of precedent of what we're trying to achieve. And then the homestead is children of all ages as well.
Okay, makes sense. Perfect.
Yeah.
I'm sure, you've covered just about everything, but has anybody got any questions at all for Mark?
Can we Mark?
No.
Sorry, Mark. Hello.
Is that Johnson?
Yeah.
Mark, tell me, how many restaurants do you have in the whole 10,000 hectares there? All the lodges.
How many restaurants?
Yeah, and are they interchangeable? Basically,
so basically, once you book a lodge, that's where everything happens. You're wining and dining. So basically, 5 lodges, 5 restaurants, or whatever you want to call it. You don't. If you book main lodge, you don't go and have dinner at one of the other lodges or meals at one of the other lodges. Your experience is at main lodge, at bus and so on with all the other lodges. Some people sometimes book the likes of a Nkosi lodge for 2 nights and maybe Settlers Drift for 2 nights to have a different experience. But like any game reserve in South Africa, once you book that particular lodge, that's where your experience happens.
thank you.
Did somebody else have a question? I don't see any questions in the chat box.
Yeah, look, I think my presentation covers most things. We've been around for a long time now. Internationally, funny enough, the first 8 or 9 years of Kariega in the 90s, we were a domestic South African product, and then we started with about 2,000 hectares. That's all. But for 20 odd years, we sort of followed. We were the next game reserve to follow Shamwari internationally. But when we started internationally in 1999, all we had was main lodge, and since then we've developed everything. And as I said, we built our last lodge, Settlers Drift, open in January 2015. We're not planning on building more lodges. We think the way we've got Kariega set up is the ratio of lodges to land, vehicles to land is the perfect ratio. So it's sort of fully developed now, but you never stop. You're always changing things, improving things, etc., etc.
Absolutely. Okay, well, it really is beautiful, and I think you've got the best of all worlds there, from the sea to the rivers to the mountains to the bush. You're really, really lucky. So thank you, everybody. Thanks to Mark for a great presentation. It is recorded, so we can share with those that missed today. But thanks to everybody that joined. And if there are any questions, you can obviously come through to me and I can get it from Mark. And then I shall see everybody else on Thursday for another training session. So
Thank
thanks,
you.
Mark.
Angela from my side, thank you. There have been a few guys already sending through some messages. I'm just reading them here to thank me.
Okay.
Thanks for giving me this opportunity. Hopefully some of you guys are down there in our area. Contact me. We'd love you to go and see the lot, see the reserve. And thanks and good luck as tourism bounces back properly. And thanks for your support. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Thanks, everybody, for joining. Have a good day.
Everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.